Lewis says if you follow these rules, you can be safer, but it also depends on drivers to stay alert instead of texting while on the road. As you can see, participants are to stay active for 12 straight hours in order to better relate to those struggling with their health, like Caitlin. If you've ever seen the TV show Avatar: The Last Airbender, you may have wanted to be trying out your firebending talents. Well, while that was just a fantasy, that TV show, this guy here is the real deal. Check him out. This is the old Bruce Nesbitt African American Cultural Center. As you can see, it is deteriorating, which has some concern over health, which is why the center has actually been moved temporarily across campus. Fire performer Brian Wolf is part of a Champaign-based troupe called the Fireflies. Wolf says he spins, eats, and breathes fire, often to explosive results.
Once you light things on fire, you want to keep on lighting things on fire because it's a different feeling. It's a completely different creature because you're playing with a live entity.
Wolf says that entity takes on a personality of its own. You can shape it depending on the tool that you use. This is a practice dragon staff. It may not look like much, but when you light it on fire, it's as they say, it's like a living, breathing creature. Firefly leader Tim Roberts says you will burn yourself if you lose respect for the flame.
Whenever I trained in fire safety, I literally had to put someone out that was on fire.
Roberts says this is why he personally trains everyone on his team. It is the first thing he does before they even get close to a flame. He has one person nearby hold water and another watch fuel just in case a performance goes wrong. Wolf says fire performing is more than just the act and art itself.
Once a fire is born, once the oxidation happens, you cannot control it. You can only manipulate it.
Wolf says burning is spiritual for different reasons depending on who you ask. He says some people say it connects them with a higher power. He says others say it can soothe the stressed and depressed. He also says many pagan and heathen groups like burning for unknown reasons, adding it could be because it is like a religious ritual. In Rantoul, I'm Daniel Baker, UI7 News. Illini-thon speaker Caitlin Pasley was diagnosed with leukemia when she was 11 years old. She is officially cancer-free now. She remembers when she got the diagnosis like it was yesterday.
It kind of was a flip of a switch for my life. It all kind of came crashing down on that day.
Pasley says her treatments were hard. Her kidneys shut down. She puked up blood. She was fed through a tube. She says most of all, she did not know if she would make it. Illini-thon asked her to share her story back in 2010. She's been sharing it every year at the dance marathon ever since. As you can see, participants are to stay active for 12 straight hours in order to better relate to those struggling with their health, like Caitlin. Illini-thon Executive Public Relations Officer Frankie Fridman says all of the money it raises goes to St. John's Children's Hospital, where Pasley was treated. Fridman says people like Pasley are the reason they hold the event each year.
Our purpose is to not only raise money to help other kids, like our miracle kiddos, but to raise awareness that pediatric injury and illness is very real.
Pasley says she has seen families give up and that you have to remain positive to make it.
My message I had started from the beginning was to believe and to have hope.
Pasley says she will have side effects for the rest of her life. She says that will not stop her from sharing her story with the world. In Urbana, I'm Daniel Baker, UI7 News. Voters gathered near polling locations such as the Champaign County Clerk's Office and the Illini Union throughout Tuesday. Delilah Hanson, a linguistics major at U of I, says while she voted for Hillary Clinton, she had a stressful time choosing a candidate.
Usually there is a candidate which I actually agree with some of their morals or their viewpoints, and I felt so conflicted with this election because there was no one that I really related to. There was no one that really stood out to me as someone who could be like the champion of the United States, who I would want to represent us in world affairs.
She also said she voted Clinton because someone as bigoted and sexist as Donald Trump should not be president. Rajiv Nori, a volunteer for the New Voters Project, says it played a nonpartisan role by getting people to vote through early registration.
We saw the danger in only getting people to register to vote and then not saying anything else afterwards, which is why we're doing the informational, calling, emailing, texting, and stuff like that, or setting up visibility for the project on the quad, like those posters that you see maybe in the UGL or something like that.
Rex Bradfield, a licensed engineer and land surveyor, says he voted for Donald Trump partly because of the economy, which he says Trump will fix.
Now we don't have those opportunities because all those jobs are leaving. When they say that Ford Motor Company is going to Mexico to make their small cars, who is going to Mexico along with them are the engineers. You got to have the engineers right on site to make the changes. So all those jobs are leaving the United States and going somewhere else.
Trump is set to take office on January 20th, 2017. In Urbana, Daniel Baker, UI7 Newsbreak. 2 residents are confirmed dead, one in Ottawa and one in southern Illinois. This was the scene in Ottawa after a few tornadoes touched down as emergency vehicles gathered. Rain poured and partially submerged a car in water under a bridge. Jim Rick, a mayor for a town called Naplate, located 2.5 miles away, says he took shelter as the weather sirens went off. While he says it only lasted 30 seconds, he saw signs, roof parts, and tree limbs fly through the air. Diane Marlin is the winner of the Democratic mayoral primary. Marlin beat incumbent mayor Laurel Pressing. It was the video that shocked the world. United Airlines passenger David Dow being dragged and bloodied from his seat after the airline overbooked a flight. US7's Rachel Lenosi shows you how one is getting a head start in the game. No, I definitely hear you. Yeah, this I'm going to be looking forward to summer, but in the meantime, this is definitely something to keep me going through that last homecoming stretch. So we'll be back to look at your forecast for the week ahead right after this break.